knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with. That's me.
I am not an African American.
You're Oreo cookie, white in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro, I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I will slap you.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Black as the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the third hour of the show today. I want to move on to my guest and someone I have the utmost respect for. He is a man of great courage, and we need more of that. He is Colin Flaherty, an award-winning reporter whose work has appeared in more than 1,000 news sites around the world, including the Washington Post, New York Times, Los Angeles Times, NPR, and many others. His book, he's been here several times. I consider him a friend. His book, White Girls Bleed a Lot, The Return of Racial Violence to America and How the Media Ignore it. You got to get that book. It is amazing, eye-opening. That was, I wanted to talk to him because he wrote about this recent black mob violence in Virginia Beach. And this took place not this past weekend, but the prior weekend. You're not hearing a lot about it in the mainstream media at all. Colin, welcome back to the show, sir. Thanks for coming on.
An honor to be here, sir.
I love having you here. I appreciate your courage. Before we get into our conversation, let me just play a quick soundbite here from 10 on Your Side News. And this is what is College Beach Weekend, so the folks to get a better idea of what's going on.
As we told you earlier, thousands of college students were at the oceanfront for an event called Beach Weekend. 10 on Your Side's Lauren Compton spoke to the promoter of that event. She joins us live from the oceanfront now. Lauren?
And he tells me that several promoters organize this event every year. They organize it around finals week. It's a way for college students to blow off some steam. Business owners here tell me they look forward to having the extra tourists, but not when it goes down the way it did this weekend.
What up, baby?
It was supposed to be a weekend of partying before finals for college students. Instead, College Beach Week turned into chaos.
I seen a fight. It was two girls fighting. I don't know why. I don't know what happened.
There was a lot of commotion and a lot of drama, a few gunshots too.
Amazing. And Colin, what the reporter didn't say, and they always leave that out, is that these were black college kids who were acting this way. Pick it up from there.
Well, the event was promoted by a black promoter, promoted 2 black students at black universities. They sent buses to pick up people at black fraternities and sororities. If you look at Twitter, if you look at YouTube and Facebook, there were 40,000 black people on the streets of Virginia Beach creating havoc, lawlessness. But, it's weird, Jesse, that, every day you and I pick up a newspaper, we can read about black caucuses and black universities and black TV stations.
Yeah.
And we're the most race-conscious country in the world. But you get 40,000 black people on the streets of Virginia Beach creating unbelievable havoc, and the reporters and the mayor of that town look at you and say, race didn't have anything to do with anything.
I know. Isn't that amazing? And according to the reports that I read and what I've seen as well, there were stabbing, robbing, and they were attacking white folks, and they were just destroying properties. Why do you think that we've gotten to a point where if it's blacks who are doing this, they leave out the fact that it's black people who are doing it, and they're racist toward white Americans?
Jesse, I should ask you that because of all the people I've talked to, all the hundreds, thousands of explanations and people, you're the best one out there on this. You're the one who talks about the animosity that exists between black people and white people. You're the only one. You're the only one that'll stand in front of a white audience and say, how many people here are afraid of being called a racist? Everybody raises their hand. And you know what? There's no better explanation for it than that.
That's right. It's the fear of being called racist. Some 50 years ago, most whites, not all, but gave in to people the likes of Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and the NAACP and others, and they allowed themselves to be intimidated. They gave their money over to these race hustlers, thinking that, I guess they were thinking it's going to make things better. And all that they have done in their fear is to encourage generation and generation of other black people to intimidate whites and take away from them and just bring it out the worst in black Americans.
And somehow the people in Virginia Beach and other places, they come to believe that somehow it is their fault. They must have done something to deserve this kind of treatment. That happens. I've seen that happen almost every case of this big mob violence that I document in White Girl Bleed a lot.
Why do... But, you know, it's apparent to me, and I think to most common sense thinking folks, that blacks out of control today have nothing to do with white folks at all. It has everything to do with the destruction of the family, black racism toward white folks, white people appeasing them, and that and it's getting worse. Colin, I don't know what it's going to take to turn it around.
Here's what it's going to take. It's going to take you and I, and people one at a time, just looking at this and go, did you guys notice that was a black thing that happened there? And what is it we're doing to turn, what is happening that's causing all this violence and all this other stuff? And why can't we talk about it? As soon as we start talking about it, I think people of goodwill are going to start prevailing.
I absolutely agree with that. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but a month ago, maybe give or take, I started the second Emancipation Proclamation for whites, freeing them to speak honestly about race issues. I figured that, 150 years have gone by since Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation freeing black slaves. It was time to free white Americans from fear.
That's pretty funny. And here's the thing. When I talk about race, here's one of the reasons white people don't talk about race. They don't know how. So there's a lot of generalizing, there's a lot of stereotyping, and there's a lot of apologies. And I don't think we need that anymore. It's
no.
Like, that's happening or that's happening. And there's a lot of nasty facts out there, so let's just stick to that.
Absolutely. Just speak the truth about what is, and that will start the dialogue and bring on the change. And I know you're like really busy this day. You're doing a lot of interviews about this issue. Andre, can we get in another soundbite, or should I wait till after this first break? I wanted to play number 3A, if that's possible. No? Okay, when I come back. Colin, do you know how many of these black thugs were arrested?
Probably a small percentage of people who were actually involved. I think they arrested, 120-some people. They had 909 calls to 911 in 6 hours. I mean, basically, if you go to if you look at the town hall meeting live on video from Virginia Beach, there were 1,000 people at the town hall meeting. Everyone that stood up that said, I had bad things happening to me, but I couldn't get anybody to answer 911 or respond to my 911 call. Always worse than they say.
That's amazing. And so the police officers would not show up to do something about the issue? Are they saying that?
They were busy. There was 80 of them on duty. So they had their hands full.
Let me take a quick break. 888-77-53773. Back in a moment.
In Virginia Beach, the well-being and vitality of the oceanfront still taking center stage after a violent weekend that had first responders trying to keep up. And new tonight, News Channel 3's Marissa Jacek got her hands on the 911 calls.
Gunshot, 200 block 17th Street. Many people running.
Station is reported by flight at Bella Pizza, 1400 Atlantic Avenue. Group of 10 black males, early to late 20s.
Need some more units up here.
Just a taste of the chaos as thousands flock to the oceanfront for College Beach weekend.
10 units reported by flight in the lobby of the Holiday Inn, 2607 Atlantic Avenue. Approximately 30 subjects involved. It's a fight inside the lobby. They're now moving out towards the parking lot.
There were 148 arrests and traffic summons. Richard Kowalowicz, a beach business owner, heard a lot of the commotion.
Shots were fired, multiple shots, multiple directions. And then it just chaos. And people were running and screaming and, you know, it just out of control.
New data released by the city reveals that more than half of those arrested are from Hampton Roads. A little more than a quarter are out-of-state residents. Police say 3 people were shot. There were several stabbings and several robberies.
Amazing, folks. The police estimate that between 30 to 40,000 black people were there in the at the ocean front there in Virginia Beach. And these were so-called college students, all black, it appears, attacking white Americans. And Colin is with me. Colin, I believe that if white Americans don't wake up and overcome this fear, this is going to get worse. We have summer coming up on us again. And you remember last year how white businesses were just attacked and people were robbing the stores and in broad daylight, didn't care that they had cameras there. This is going to get worse with the summer to come. That is coming.
You know, everybody always asks me, why is this happening? Why is this happening? I finally figured out why. Because they can.
Yes.
And so as long as people keep ignoring it, it's going to keep happening.
This is. Can you imagine had 30 to 40,000 white kids from white colleges or colleges around the country done something like this? It would be all over the media. Everybody and their mama would know about it. Most people have not heard of this story.
You know, Jesse, a lot of my readers will go to their local paper and say, why didn't you do a story on this? You know, why? And the reporters go, because that happens all the time. White kids do that all the time at the beach. But they never attach the videos. They never attach the clips. Yeah. And so basically people are making stuff up.
Exactly. And I just want to repeat to the folks, there were reports of stabbing, shooting, robbing, stealing bikes, and everything that these black people could do that was wrong, they did it, according to the reports. This is evil.
It was anarchy. It's on YouTube, lots of videos, lots of Twitter. You know what? It's funny. The reporters might say that, you know, race had nothing to do with it or whatever, but if you look at the Twitter stream, the people who were there, they're very proud of, the fun they had causing all that havoc.
You know why? Because they hate white folks. They're racist toward whites, and anytime they can hurt and abuse white Americans, take advantage of them, they have no sympathy about that. They feel proud because they feel justified by attacking white Americans in this manner.
Jesse, I get a lot of mail. I get a lot of mail from prison psychologists, and you just repeat it word for word, letters I get from them.
Yes, sir. Give out your website. I want to squeeze in just 1 or 2 calls because I know you got to go in a few minutes here. Tell the folks, I want them to read your writing because you are one white man with no fear, at least not about these issues, and I appreciate that about you.
I appreciate that. You know, I don't consider it a bravery thing. I feel like I'm just a guy standing on the corner saying, hey, there's a car crash there. Anybody notice that? But I'm wondering why everybody around me is going, no, there's no car crash there. See, that's the crazy part.
Yeah, it is. So
anyway, the book's easy to find. White Girl Bleed a Lot on Amazon. That's the name of the website, too.
I love that book, White Girl Bleeds a Lot. I mean, it's amazing. People, you got to get that. He also writes for WorldNetDaily.com as well. Let me go quickly down to Dayton, Ohio. Mays, you're on with Colin Flaherty.
Yeah, Colin. I like the book that asks What's Wrong with White People. Do you like that book, too?
What's it called?
What's Wrong with White People.
I haven't had the honor of reading that book yet.
Well, find it and read it.
Never heard of it as well. Maze, you're making that up, right?
I'm not making it up.
It's a book called What's Wrong with White People.
Oh, that's by Joan Walsh from Salon. That's by the Salon writer.
You know about it. So
Yeah, I do now. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm making
Yeah, exactly. It's like the flip side of White Girl Bleed a Lot, except without the facts.
But just what you're not doing. All you doing is being supreme. That's why you're running out. That's why you run around like a chicken with his head cut off.
Here's what I do. Here's what I do. I don't do any.
Hold on, Maze. Go ahead.
Here's what I do in my book. I don't do any preaching or sermonizing. All I do is one fact after another. More than 500 videos, 500 examples documented, and not only document the event. I document how the press misreports it. So I don't do a lot of explaining. I don't do a lot of causes and solutions. Hey, guess what? I also don't apologize.
There you go.
And I have another
Maze,
question.
when you say, hey, Maze, calm down.
What?
When you say he's being supreme, what do you mean by that?
What I said, because when they do stuff.
No, what do you mean by that?
Being a Caucasian man.
See,
because when they do stuff.
This is a racist, Colin. This is an example of that.
I know.
Yeah, I'm a racist.
That's okay.
I'm a racist for my people. That's right. Just like he is.
Give me an example of what you're talking about.
An example, like when your kids do stuff and the cops come pick them up, they go home. When the black kids do stuff and the cops pick them up, they go to jail and they write it in the newspaper. But if they wrote what both sides were doing, I think it would be an equal situation from college students. But you here with your supremacist stuff, running around like a chicken with his head cut is irrelevant.
Let's get a response. Go ahead, Colin.
I asked for an example. I didn't get one. I mean, I want an example.
I know you didn't get one because you didn't want to hear the example. That's what's wrong with you. Because I guarantee you about 60 years old.
Maze, you speak so fast. First of all, Maze, no one understands what you're saying.
I'm going to say it slow. When your kids do things, our kids do things, I get in the paper, yours don't. So don't you think that both of them should be in the paper so it can be equally seen what is done?
I think that when here's what I find. I find that time after time, when the parents of these kids who are caught in this black mob violence, when they show up at the police station, they're always saying what angels their kids are. These are the same kids we just saw on videotape.
Yeah.
So, but you have to give me an example of where there's a lot of white mob violence out there that's not getting reported.
In Ohio, when they turn all those cars up and burn them up and everything on the street, what happened to those kids? Nothing.
Did you see that on the news,
Yes,
Maze?
I did see it.
Well, so it was reported.
This is reported too. Y'all talking about it.
But you didn't know about this.
And
This
you
happened a
trying to make
couple
it look
weeks ago.
Don't tell me when it happened. How you know? I don't know somebody that was there. See, when you go to the beaches, and then you got people that
We're
look
talking about Ohio State football?
Hey.
What are we talking about?
They do it all.
Ohio State football game, the celebration?
White kids mobs. That's what I'm talking about. So you try to be ignorant when somebody try to get to the real situation.
Were you talking about the Ohio State football, Maze?
Yes. When they have stuff and do things like that, they do it all the time.
That was a racially mixed crowd.
Racially mixed crowd, Maze. This was all black.
Progress.
I had to let her go, man. She's a nutcase. But
well, here's the thing, Jesse. Here's the thing. You see this every day. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
How many people are capable of having the conversation about race without going nuts on it?
There you go. Absolutely, I agree. But I'm working to change that, and I know you are too, and it will happen. I know you got to go to another interview. Thank you so much for your time.
Best of luck. Keep it on. Keep it on.
I will. You too, buddy. Okay. Back in a moment. 888-7753-773.